Yeah, so we just finished up another episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Episode 4, I think.
Episode 4.
4, yes.
Oh.
Dark Side of the Ring.
The Brawl For All.
Tales from the Dark Side of the Ring.
It should be called that.
Because that's how they make it look when they do the font. It looks like Tales from the Dark Side, if people remember that.
Even when they do their silhouette acting.
Yeah,
They love
it
their,
looks creepy.
They love their silhouette acting.
Right, they need to do better with Vince McMahon's silhouette, because it does look horrible.
Well, his
That one little strut that they did.
His hairline does not look like when you see Vince McMahon's hairline. It doesn't look the same.
He's always had a good hairline, though. He's always managed to have a good full head of hair.
He had like a pompadour.
Yeah, he had the pompadour, but he still got the pompadour, no?
Well, I think he's been thinning up.
He used to have a slick back.
Yeah.
But yeah. I can't imagine WWE or F or Vince McMahon liking this at all, right? Did he watch this and he's like, what the heck's, what's going on here? It's not that dark.
Well, he's not. I don't think you'll ever get Vince McMahon on a single episode of this show.
No, they just show. You know what they do? They show actually like public domain type shows, like Beyond the Mat, and like footage from other shows that are already broadcasted. Like you won't see.
They've been showing footage of WWF events.
How are they getting that footage?
That's a good question. I don't know how they're doing that, but they've been getting footage. They showed footage of this. The Brawl For All.
Oh, they showed the whole right. They showed the Brawl For All, right?
This episode was called The Brawl For about the debacle.
Which I think the name sounds great, and I think it's a good concept. He does not.
No, the concept was terrible.
Concept was okay.
No, it wasn't.
It was outside the lines.
Yeah, but you didn't need to throw boxing into
If it would have succeeded, it would have been like, oh, the best thing ever. Like when he first came up with WrestleMania, it turned out to be a huge success.
Sorry, so look at the Brawl For All for what happened during it. So, you watched it without really having an idea of it. I watched this shit unfold on Raw
Live.
for months, watching that show. Watching Monday Night Raw, and I was like, why the hell are they doing this? It was...
Well, explain what the Brawl For All was about anyway.
It was a legit boxing tournament held by Vince McMahon for some reason.
Right.
Why?
In wrestling.
In wrestling. But wait, no, actually, no.
No.
I'm wrong because it wasn't just boxing. They were doing takedowns.
Yeah, they were like leg sweeps and
like
shit.
It was like Greco-Roman wrestling meets boxing.
Right. It was almost like kickboxing, some of the matches I saw, because they were able to throw kicks and they were boxing also. They should have called it a kickboxing match. But it was an unscripted, anybody could win type situation.
People who won it were promised to be pushed to the moon on Raw.
Right. If you could win this thing, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be the next big thing.
And no one came out of it. No one came out of it shining positive. No one. Not a single person came out of it. Not a single star was made from it.
Because of the injuries and...
Because of the injuries.
And the people that should have been good but ended up losing.
All right.
Going back to Dr. Death.
All right. Well, Dr. Death, we'll get into that.
Yes.
So one of the participants was Dan the Beast Severn.
Yes. UFC fighter.
One of the OG
legend.
UFC guys.
Dan Severn. Right.
Where it was a one-night tournament.
Yeah, 30 minutes long. There are no rounds between. Back when Royce Gracie
no weight classes.
Right.
No weight classes.
No weight classes, right.
Oh yeah, I remember Royce Gracie holding on to Dan Severn.
30 minutes.
For about 15 minutes, and then Dan Severn all of a sudden gives up. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he used to fight in his gi. Royce Gracie.
I never liked
Which is with an R, but Brazilian, and the R's are H's.
I never liked Royce Gracie. Never did.
Well,
anywho, you would have thought that Dan Severn would have been the favorite to win this, right? Like the actual favorite to win this, right? Because Dan Severn was wrestling for WWF and he was still fighting MMA.
Right. It was like a pride thing too, right?
He was still fighting MMA at the same time.
So if he was to lose in this, it was total disrespect to him because he should win it because he is a UFC fighter.
legit UFC,
legit boxing and also wrestling. And whose idea was it to have this?
Vince Russo.
Okay, it wasn't Vince McMahon.
Vince Russo. This was Vince Russo's baby. Vince Russo is a douche nozzle.
Who was a big part of this episode, by the way. Who pretty much narrated the shit.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, he was in it a lot. And he's...
Him and that other jacked up roid guy, Bart...
Oh, Bart Gunn. Poor Bart Gunn. Poor Bart Gunn, after this whole thing, should have came out smelling like roses.
Ah, absolutely.
And they fed him to a big fat wolf named Butterbean.
Yes.
So, okay.
Wait, build it up. And so... 16...
The Brawl For All.
Right.
Set up boxing tournament by Vince McMahon. He himself has favorites involved in it, and Dr. Death Steve Williams is one of them.
Because there were judges, so it wasn't like
there were judges.
There were judges, so that was my question to you. In other words, even though it was unscripted and it was a free for all, I'm sure Vince McMahon and WWF had their ideas on who they wanted to win.
And these fights look terrible.
Well, yeah, a lot of them did look terrible. In fact, a lot of the knockouts came from some lucky punches. If you look the way they were throwing.
Lucky side swinging punches.
Yeah.
Like flailing.
You had the...
flailing punches, not trained punches, because you have a bunch of
pro
wrestlers
the
in
pimp
there.
guy...
the Godfather. The Godfather, who fucked up his leg during one of the fights. First off, the Godfather should have even been in there. He lost his first round fight to Dan Severn. Right. Dan Severn backs out. So who do they get to replace Dan Severn with? The guy who just lost the fight to Dan Severn.
Which I think was kind of a good idea. I mean, who else are you going to put in there? You have to put the guy that Dan Severn beat the last time. You put the Godfather back in. Throw him in there. At that point, you would think maybe the Godfather would win it all. At that point.
And then he ended up crippling himself in the next fight. Because you saw what happened to him. He messed up his leg. Yeah. You saw that.
A lot of people got injured going back.
A lot of people got injured.
What about the person who was in the wheelchair with the
Draws?
Right. He really got totally screwed from this whole thing.
If anyone's ever seen the pro wrestling movie Beyond the Mat, he's the guy that Vince McMahon was trying to get throw up into a garbage can.
Right, on demand.
He's gonna puke!
Right.
That's the guy.
Yeah, and if you watch this episode, you look at him, you're like, oh my god, you feel so bad for the guy. I mean, he can't even move. His whole body is paralyzed. He moves with his mouth with that straw thing. Like,
well, he didn't get paralyzed from the Brawl For All. It's amazing that he didn't.
Well, that's right. D'Lo Brown did that. Right?
Yeah, with a power bomb. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
but, anywho, Draws was in the tournament. Bart Gunn was in the tournament. Bart Gunn. Go
Who do you think deserved to win that?
Bart Gunn wins the tournament.
It ended up coming down to him and
Bart Gunn wins
Dr.
the whole...
Death, no?
Well, he beat Dr. Death.
Right.
When he beat Dr. Death, all the pressure was put on him.
Right.
First off, this whole thing was started by Vince Russo, so Vince Russo could get back at Bradshaw. And Vince Russo admits this.
Right, Bradshaw was in there.
Because Bradshaw talked shit that he could beat the shit out of anybody in the locker room, and Vince Russo took exception to it. Vince Russo was one of the creative minds of WWF.
Wrestling used to go off the rails like that. That's what I used to like. Not that I knew.
But to throw a boxing tournament in it where a bunch of people end up crippled, and then a bunch of people have no career after that.
Yeah.
And whatever career they have left, they have to scrap and salvage for.
And then how did they reward the winner? Well, they didn't even want that. The winner.
Oh, man. It wasn't a reward. Could you call it a reward?
Well, I'm not, but that's what they called it. I'm not calling it that. But,
all right, so this stupid tournament went from late June to late August of '98.
About 2 months. Maybe a little longer.
And
which was crazy.
It wasn't until WrestleMania the next year they had the bright idea to dust Bart Gunn off and throw him in the ring in WrestleMania with a real match against Butterbean.
Butterbean, who was at the
Butterbean.
prime of his career. I mean, the guy was knocking people out left and right. It was huge.
Well, he wasn't winning every match because there were people who could, outlast him.
Out butter him up.
Yeah, they could out-butter him up.
Yeah, butters.
People outlasted Butterbean, though.
Mantequilla. Mantequilla bean. Mm-hmm. It was good though. I enjoyed watching. Hey, what WrestleMania did Butterbean actually fight in? Do you remember which one? No, just
99,
off the top of your mind.
99. It was pointless.
Yeah.
It did nothing for anybody.
Yeah, but I heard it was revenge. They said it was a revenge thing.
Because he won the tournament.
Yeah. And he wasn't supposed to.
He wasn't. Well, he was.
It wasn't planned to. Even though it wasn't planned in the first place.
He wasn't favored to.
Right.
By management.
Maybe Vince McMahon bet on the other guy.
On Butterbean? Yeah.
Well, Butterbean, I mean, look, what would you expect? Butterbean, and did you see the shot that
He
Butterbean
destroyed him.
Oh, his legs just dropped and the guy fell to the ground like he was
out before
he was out cold.
Ground.
Yeah, he was totally out cold.
He was out before he hit the ground.
Do you remember
first off, he knocked him down one time before.
Oh, okay. I was asking how long
He did knock
the
him
fight
down
lasted
one
for.
time before. And then he got back up, and then boom, that was it, night-night.
So now, this whole Dark Side of the Ring was concentrating on not so much like the match, how the debacle was, just all the people that had destroyed their careers and their lives and their health in general, I guess, right? Because this wasn't as dark as the New Jack one, but...
No, it wasn't. Well, they're also not going to go the New Jack route with all these episodes.
Right, they're going to go crazy. Oh, people killing each other and...
Stabbing someone with a friggin' box cutter in the ring. You know, we're not all going to get it. Not every episode of this is going to be...
But haven't you noticed that almost every single episode of The Dark Side of the Ring always has something going on where people are not following what they're supposed to be doing, where they're doing their own thing?
Well, all right.
It seems like they're
how
doing their own thing.
How are you supposed to follow this, though?
Well,
how are you supposed to be following script on what is supposed to be legit boxing matches? Legit boxing matches that for some reason have wrestling takedowns. How are you supposed to...
I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, well, this one was meant to go off script. This was the one match that was meant to go off script.
It wasn't even a script.
It wasn't a script, right? You do your own thing.
There was no script whatsoever.
Right. They had to improv the whole time. That's pretty much what. And some of the matches we saw in the beginning were very sloppy. People just throwing punches.
Like 10-year-old kids fighting in
10-year-old kids in the schoolyard. Cartman versus.
But big fat schoolyard kids.
Versus
this shouldn't have happened. No, they were really, really stupid with it. I know I keep going on to things as like this past WrestleMania, they shouldn't have did this WrestleMania, but this one, no. This one.
Oh, that WrestleMania was, they have to strike that from the record.
Nah, I mean, they should strike the Brawl For All from the record, because it was awful. It was awful.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if that we get in 10 years from now, a Dark Side of the Ring with the WrestleMania of the coronavirus year, 2020. Could you imagine the celebration that people are going to have this New Year's Eve when they finally get to come out? It's going to be massive.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, maybe there might even be a New Year's Eve.
It can actually happen.
Yeah, you can't. Only 10 people allowed in Times Square.
Yeah, and it's all
no Ryan Seacrest. It'll be all Zoom.
And it's all the people with cameras.
Yeah, it'll be right. It's interesting to see how the world's gonna go from now on. But we still got the Dark Side of the Ring. Right now we're in the Dark Side of the world, but
Dark Side of the friggin' universe.
but we're actually watching Dark Side of the Ring episodes, which so far has been good. First season was good. This season has been good. Actually, for me as a wrestling fan, and again, my memory is shot over the years. I watched most of these stuff, but I can't remember any of it. So this is all new to me. That's what's good about it. You know, we just signed up to the WWE Network. It's all new to me. We just watched Royal Rumble.
Now you actually could watch every single match of the Brawl For All on your own.
Right.
And relive the Brawl For All.
We also watched earlier, one of the Royal Rumbles, which I probably remember who the winner was, actually, which was Hacksaw. But I do remember now, but I won't remember tomorrow. But that's how but what's good about this is that, like, beyond the mat, same thing. I didn't know what was going on. You seem to know everything because you followed this from you remember all this stuff. Like, it sticks in your data bank. There's no spillage, you know, like Kelly Bundy.
Yeah, you are the real life version of Kelly.
You tell me something and something else pours out. You're absolutely correct. How many times have you told me about
I'm surprised.
and the Anvil's daughter in wrestling?
I'm surprised you don't suffocate putting a t-shirt on.
It could happen one day. And you
It
might have to do the eulogy. I told this guy. I freaking told him. He can't put a t-shirt on.
I'm not the most intelligent person in the world myself. So.
No, you're not at all. But when it comes to wrestling, you have a memory bank that is.
I have a memory about a lot of things.
No, nobody's saying you're smart, dude. But we're talking.
I don't know. Sometimes I do feel like I'm a friggin' genius when I sit next to you.
Oh, absolutely. Compared to me, it's not saying much. But
All right, Dark Side of the Ring, episode 4. I give it a poop.
yeah, I give it a thumbs up too. I like the New Jack episode the most, and the Chris Benoit episode. The first 2 were great also.
Season's been good so far.
Season's been great. Yeah, I mean, you know, just keep pumping them out. I hope they're in production right now, because you don't really need. When you make a show like this, you can do it while you're doing a pandemic. Because all it is like one-on-one interviews and you can just show footage. Right, you don't really need a group of people.
You got a bunch of people sitting there wearing masks.
You throw somebody in there, say, I told Vincent Man not to do it, but he wanted to do it anyway. You know, it was good. Yeah. I like it though. I like it. And I think wrestling fans in general, that are more wrestling fans than I am, will like it also. But if they are real wrestling fans like you are, you remember everything that you're going to see anyway. Have you learnned anything from these shows that you didn't know before?
Well, the Dino Bravo episode coming up. That's one thing I want to learn more about.
Okay.
Poor Dino Bravo. He had a bad demise.
Dino Bravo, yeah.
But there's a few episodes that I do want to do videos about and that I don't want to bother doing. First of all, the next episode is Jimmy Snuka. I don't want to touch that because we already did the Chris Benoit episode. It's just another guy murdering his friggin' wife/girlfriend.
It's pretty
dark. I don't want to do that again. But
it's the dark side.
We'll do a few more of these. All right.
How many eulogies is Vincent Man gonna have to do in the ring?
Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one.